So I have a huge family that I feel really lucky to have. My mom has 8 siblings, and so we have like this ginormous family, and we're all really close for like bizarre reasons. It just seems really funny and magical to me that we're all so close, and yet we're such a big family. So I'd like to perform this poem for my family. It's called The Boat. My grandfather owns a boat. My grandfather has 9 children, 19 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchild. My grandfather always calls me darling. My grandfather is 6'5" and shrinking, his mouth a piano. My grandfather wears the sweater I bought him every single time I see him. My grandfather is an alcoholic. My grandfather owns a boat. It lives in my parents' backyard. My mother gave him $3,000 to pay off his debts, and he bought a shitty boat. In the 14 years of its life, it has never touched the water. It has never done what it was born to do. My grandfather survived a war. My grandfather lives next to a church no one goes to anymore. My grandfather won't move my grandmother's sofa chair so she can watch the television. I tell myself it is because he doesn't want to experience change anymore. Before my grandmother became my grandmother, she was a nun. The convent kicked her out. They said she played too many practical jokes. They said, Charlotte, we don't really think you belong here. I don't know if she's ever really belonged anywhere. All of the women in my family now live in fear that they will become her, that they will worry themselves to death. I know she hasn't died yet, but a woman who has never learned to fight for herself knows too much about death. My grandfather was at the bar the afternoon my grandmother had her stroke. My grandfather won't admit she's losing her mind. Their apartment building's hallways smell like age, like my grandmother's dirty sweatshirts, like her dying friends. We hardly recognize each other anymore. She forgets my name while we're mid-conversation. A woman who was raised in army. A woman who has never been taken to sea. My grandfather forgot her insulin shot the last time I was at their apartment. He was beside himself, angry and guilty. He took her pale arm in his hand and shook his head. Said, what am I going to do with you? She didn't miss a beat. She just smiled and said, you could love me.